Linux versus GNU Linux. Everything new is always better, right? Or the same. A bunch of people in the comments have told me that I've got it wrong, it's not Linux, it's GNU Linux, or just GNU. Well, no. Linux is all operating systems based on the Linux kernel. They don't have to be free. They don't have to be open source. They don't have to be based on the GNU licensing model. They could be based on Apache 2. They could be based on one of the Creative Commons. There are a bunch of different licensing models that Linux distributions can be under, including commercial. GNU Linux is only for distributions that are entirely based on the GNU licensing model. Unfortunately, a lot of the distributions that are built on GNU aren't quite GNU. The idea is that GNU requires no additional licenses. But if you have support for FAT16 or any of the other patents that Microsoft and Apple have implemented, such as the ability to work with H.264 codecs or MPEG-2 or play a DVD, you're going to have non-GNU stuff, and that can't be part of the core distribution. It has to be software that's acquired afterwards if you are going to distribute your build under GNU. I would rather go with something like one of the Ubuntu models where there have been codecs that have been licensed, and when I purchase that Ubuntu license, I am able to do a lot of the things that I need to do in order to at least have my operating system be functional. And you can't do that with GNU. Real basic stuff just doesn't work because of these patent and royalty issues. Android thought that they were going to be able to do those and found out that they couldn't. Most of the manufacturers of Android devices have to pay licensing fees to both Microsoft and Apple. But with new distributions, the idea would be that you would build versions of the operating system that didn't use any of that intellectual property so that you could make it truly free and open source. I would rather just pay a licensing fee and know that I'm legal than deal with whether or not the new version is in fact legal everywhere or has done everything, and I won't be running it and one day get a bill from somebody that says, hey, we detected you were running this operating system. We'd like our $85 for patent infringement. That's much harder to plan for than just rolling out something that I can say, the people who distributed this have said that they own all of the intellectual property and will defend my rights to use their software in the event that somebody says that it's infringing. And that's really the difference between running something like a Microsoft operating system where someone says, Acacia, I believe was the name of the company, that used to go around and say, oh, you've got the ability to stream video, we're going to sue you. If you had deployed on a Microsoft platform, you said, Microsoft says they own the patents on this, you need to work that out with Microsoft. If you were running a Linux distribution that was doing those same things, Acacia would come and you'd have to say, the guys that I bought this from, well, I didn't really buy it, it was free, said it was okay. And then you had to fight with Acacia about whether or not you had the ability to do those things. And that is a big part of the peace of mind that comes with running paid commercial software. You're not just paying for the intellectual property, you're paying for the defense team that says, no, the things that we have done are fully legal and legitimate. All of this said, that isn't to say that I don't like Linux. I run Linux on my servers a lot. There are just things that I wouldn't do with any of the free Linux distributions that I might be willing to do with some of the paid Linux distributions, and that there are other things that I will only do with a product from a commercial vendor so that I know that I'm getting that peace of mind that they have dotted all of the I's and crossed all of the T's so that somebody won't come and sue me.